happening right now a massive effort to make your next flight in and out of Atlanta safer with a new focus on mental health.
That's right. Aviation experts and health professionals, they are coming together and they're talking about possible changes to the rules that pilots have to follow when it comes to their mental health. Atlanta News First reporter Madeline Montgomery has the story.
Pilots we've heard from say that they're afraid to self-report because they're scared to lose their jobs. The National Transportation Safety Board chair says that's the culture that needs to change to keep everyone safe. Psychologists, pilots, and representatives from the Federal Aviation Administration and National Transportation Safety Board working together to create safer skies for pilots and passengers.
Our son lost his life due to post-traumatic stress, so I understand this firsthand. I'm also an active pilot, have been for much longer than I will admit to, but I voluntarily grounded myself and took advantage of some counseling. Did I report this to the FAA? No, I did not.
Just one example from pilot and NTSB chairman Bruce Landsberg, demonstrating a culture that the organization is trying to change.
There's tradition of silence. I mean, this is something that is also very common in several of these vocations and fields, and that, of course, has a long history that's hard to overcome.
I reached out to the Airline Pilots Association, who told me in a statement that the federal government needs to change the way they approach mental health. ALPA's recommendations include making all counseling without a diagnosis non-reportable to encourage pilots to seek help early without fear of risking their medical certificate and livelihood, and creating an FAA-funded peer support network. Those suggestions fitting ideas discussed by NTSB Chair Jennifer Hamady in today's summit.
To help provide a safe space for others to get treatment without fear of losing their livelihoods. It's not just the right thing to do, it's the safe thing to do. What's unsafe is pretending the status quo is acceptable.
The meeting is expected to last until 4:30 this afternoon. Reporting at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, I'm Madeline Montgomery, Atlanta News First.